Yeah, it wouldn't.
Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation. Films and fermentation, comedy mixed with tasty libation. Films and fermentation, with Leo Kaplan and Mike.
Hey, it's the man. It's the boy. There he is.
Boy.
Hello, boy.
That's right, guys. You whiz. You play the credits and suddenly a baby appears.
And a baby pops in.
That's going to
be move pretty quick over in this house.
Oh, boy. There he is. Hey.
There you go. You see everybody waving?
Hey, Megan.
Megan.
Say hi.
That's the boy. What's his favorite, Alien or Aliens?
Oh, he likes Aliens. He's more of a Bill Paxton fan.
Okay.
Oh.
Bill Paxton fan.
Bye.
Bye, boy.
Right.
So does your wife go by Mrs. Kevman or Kevwoman?
He goes by Megan.
Yes.
Megan. Yeah. He's a Bill Paxton fan. Hold on.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So, everybody, welcome to Films and Fermentation. This is episode 213. Tonight, we're doing a brand new topic. We've never done this before. I'm excited about it. If it goes well, maybe we can do it again with some other movies, like Police Academy and Police Academy 2. So, we're going to be doing a movie special tonight called Sequel Wars. And for our first time doing this, we are pitting Alien from 1979 versus Aliens from 1986. That's right.
This is either the best or the worst pair to start with.
I picked this one because it's the Halloween season. I thought this would be a good one to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm talking about like as people argue back and forth.
I know, and that's why I thought it was a good one to start with.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we are Films of Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast, number one pop culture podcast on Good Pods, number one beer podcast on Good Pods. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
And joining us tonight, we have Nathan from the Monster Island Film Vault podcast. Nate, introduce yourself to the crowd.
Hello, Films and Fermentation listeners. There, you happy?
Yeah. Hello, nurse.
Oh.
Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
It is a podcast seeking entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu. So if you are into film appreciation and kaiju movies, so, monsters of the large variety, give my show a listen, especially if you enjoy learning about these movies in their original historical and cultural context. I do an obscene amount of research on every movie that I cover, because I have learned that as modern audiences, and in many cases foreign audiences, we have a lot of separation between us and these movies, and I try to bridge those gaps by doing all this stuff to put them in their proper context. So, for example, the first full-length discussion episode I ever did was on the original King Kong, and since it came out in 1933. Even though this is only sort of mentioned in the movie and very obliquely, I did research on the Great Depression.
Oh, nice.
Talked about how you can kind of see it in the movie, but also it's interesting how King Kong became a massive hit at the height of the Depression.
Mm-hmm.
When people had such little money that they could spend, such little disposable income, and yet they kept going to see King Kong.
Well, it was the only way to get away from the life that you had was to go to the movies.
Yeah,
equally for a while.
Yeah, which is why I would say that's why they don't really bring up the Depression in that movie.
we look like we do research, but it's just facade.
It's even hard to watch the movie they're talking about the week we're doing.
Yeah, that's what the alcohol is for.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So we're from fermentation. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was hoping to impress you guys by saying I watched Alien Romulus yesterday. So
You're
I
not
can say I've
talking about it,
completed.
but good for you.
I've completed all of the Alien movies.
You've even
Good
watched
for
both
you.
AVPs.
Both Requiem and the original. Yep.
I can't bring myself to watch Requiem.
This is why I decided that Sequel Wars was just going to be the first two movies, because I didn't want to have to bring up Fincher's Alien 3 or Romulus.
You know,
if
you watch the
Fincher doesn't want to bring up Fincher's Aliens 3.
Yeah, if you watch the assembly
director's cut.
it's
Yeah.
actually that one's actually better. I would say.
He almost quit directing. He almost quit directing because of how badly the studio screwed him on that film.
Oh yeah, it was that thing ended up being a mess because of the studio more than anything
imagine
else.
if he quit, we wouldn't have got Seven or Fight Club or any of those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting back to the intro that I haven't finished yet. We're four friends tonight who talk shit about movies while getting shit faced. Tonight, we're diving into our brand new series, Sequel Wars, starting with the mother of all matchups, Alien from 1979 versus Aliens from 1986. It's a battle between slow burn cosmic horror and full throttle bug splattering action, like if Ridley Scott and James Cameron got into a bar fight over who ordered the last pint. Will subtle terror and atmosphere prevail, or will pulse rifles and power loaders crush the competition? Grab a drink, watch your motion tracker, and remember, in space, no one can hear you scream. I practiced tonight, can you tell?
You haven't been pre-showing yet. That's why.
This is my announcer voice.
Yeah. Don't forget to drop us an email, filmsoffermentation@gmail.com, or visit linktree.com/filmsoffermentation to find all of our social media podcast links. Become part of the Films of Fermentation family by watching us on the Podnation Media Network on Roku. You can also find the Monster Island Film Vault there as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Visit our Substack to subscribe to our newsletter. We are an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members only content. That's right. For only $1, we'll provide the Pepto-Bismol when you get impregnated by a facehugger. Go to patreon.com/films of fermentation, or purchase our merchandise at teespring.com, or text us at 904-867-4466. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen? Would our guest like to go first and tell us about his new thing he's trying?
Sure. I'm a fan of this brand, and I discovered that they have branched out into doing hard versions of what they normally do.
Okay.
Arizona hard tea.
Oh wow.
Green tea. Their regular green tea is one of my favorites. So I figured, why not?
I'll have to tell my wife
I'm
about that.
trying it for the first time live right here, so we'll see if it's any good.
Something tells me that's a little more than $1.
It is a little more than $1. It's more like $4. Not bad.
All right. Kev, what you got going on tonight?
My wife was kind enough. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good. We're good.
My wife was kind enough to pick up for me because I forgot. The Southern Tier Brewing Company's Pumpkin Imperial Pumpkin Ale, 8.6% alcohol by volume.
That's such a good beer.
And yes, I don't have anything written on it. So this is just one of my favorite holiday beers. I think the first time I had it, it was a draft. They had rimmed the glass with caramel and then cinnamon sugar, and it was just delightful. And this is a good pumpkin beer.
That's just the regular pumpkin, not the caramel one, right?
No, this is the regular. I do like the caramel one too, though.
All right, Mike, what are you drinking?
I themed my drink tonight.
Ooh, we got a theme drink. What's our theme?
I went on to ChatGPT and had a baby cocktail. I am drinking the Xenomorph Bite.
Ooh.
It is made with Old Smokies, ginger lime whiskey,
Okay.
lime juice, bitters,
And hydrochloric acid.
No, not hydrochloric acid. Simple syrup, and it's topped off with ginger beer.
Nice. That sounds good.
That's good.
See, if you really wanted to have been on brand, you should have said that you asked the bishop to make you a cocktail.
Yeah. Kev, I am drinking a Southern Tier Brewing Company, 8.6% alcohol by volume, caramel pumpkin ale. that I actually am almost done already, which is a problem.
Okay.
And when I
I have the lowest alcohol percentage out of all the. I think this is only 5%.
The best part about this is like we'll be hammered by the end of the show. Kevin and I still have to get up and teach tomorrow. I also have when I finish that, I have a Trogs Oktoberfest lager to follow that up with when I finish this one. The Oktoberfest is 6.1% alcohol by volume. If I get to a third one, I'm probably going to go back to the caramel pumpkin because I got a couple more in the fridge. So. All right, let's play a song.
This week in film history with Mike. This week in film history with Mike.
1950, All About Eve, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz.
Mankiewicz.
Starring Betty Davis and Ann Baxter, premieres Academy Award Best Picture 1951.
I have not seen this movie. Again, like I'm.
It's before 1960.
Before 1960, and it's not a B movie. So. All right, what's the next one, sir?
I think you saw this one.
I
1957
have, yes.
musical film Jailhouse Rock starring Elvis Presley premieres in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, one of two Elvis films that I'm very familiar with. This one and the one where he kisses his cousin.
Oh
No, yeah, Elvis. Don't underestimate. My dad told me that he never thought Elvis was that good of an actor. However, he was very good at memorizing scripts, from what my dad tells me.
Yet memorizing scripts does not a good actor make.
No.
What's the next one you got there, sir? Oh, this is a really good one.
1961 film adaptation of the 1957 Broadway musical West Side Story, directed by Robert Wise and Jerome Robbins, and starring Natalie Wood, and premieres Academy Award Best Picture 1962.
Yep, this is actually my favorite musical.
Okay.
Yes, I know it sounds strange that I of all people have a favorite musical, but
it's not. I love musicals, so this is
okay. But one of the reasons I do enjoy this is a lot is it's a loose Shakespeare adaptation.
I was going to say this is the 1961 film adaptation of a 1957 Broadway musical based on a 1593 Shakespeare play.
Yeah, it's Shakespeare play. No, it's a loose adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, I love West Side Story. It's one of my favorites as well.
And
I actually like I like the Spielberg one too. I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't seen that one yet, but did you know? Good. But here's a fun fact: did you know this actually has two interesting connections? One, a Star Trek connection, which is another one of my favorite franchises, and a kaiju connection. Believe it or not.
So the Star Trek connection. Wasn't it
the director Robert Wise directed Star Trek: The Motion Picture?
Oh, okay, all right.
And in Kaiju Connection, Godzilla played one of the jets.
Yes, totally. No, actually,
when they're going, "Stay cool," he's like,
I'm trying to find the cast list so I can make sure I get his name right. But there is you know what? I'm just going to look up the movie. I know he was in. One of the supporting actors in this was in a make sure I get the year right. I think it was 68. No, 66. It was a 1966 Toho movie. So the studio made Godzilla. It was called War of the Gargantuas. And I'm going to kick myself as soon as I see his name. Russ Tamblyn.
Oh, Russ Tamblyn. Russ Tamblyn was Riff.
Yeah,
he was the leader of
Russ Tamblyn was actually the star of that movie, and decided to pee out all of his charisma before going on camera. Because he's about as flat as paper. Not even calling him flat as a pancake is generous. No, this guy he doesn't even try in that movie because he thought War of the Gargantuas was beneath him. I'm like,
I mean,
I've seen West Side Story. I know you can act. You just decided not to today.
later in life, he would go on to have a supporting role on Twin Peaks.
Well, there you go.
Mike, what's the next one you got there, sir?
1967, Walt Disney's animated musical adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book film is released. Cast featured voices of Phil Harris, Louis Prima, Sterling Holloway, and Sebastian Cabot.
You got those bare necessities,
a
simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries. Try.
Yeah, man.
Yep, that was
Excellent,
a childhood favorite of mine, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jungle Book is going. What's the next one, sir?
1968, Bullet, directed by Peter Yates and starring Steve McQueen and Jacqueline Bisset, is first released.
Bullet
I have
has
not seen Bullet since I was in high school, but man,
amazing chase scene.
It was the
Amazing
first.
chase scene.
It was the first great car chase movie because that
It
was
was
the,
like, yeah, it was like this one, and then a couple years later, he had the French Connection.
yeah.
Which
My
kind of
understanding is that the reason why this one is considered the first, it's not the first car chase movie, but it's the first great car chase movie because movie cameras had advanced to the point where they could do a lot of the things that we associate with car chase. They're able to put them in the car and record them as they're driving and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it's seminal. Also, I have covered a movie on my podcast that has Steve McQueen in it. His very first starring role, The Blob.
Yeah, The Blob. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next one, sir.
This one's all about you, Lee.
I know.
1990, Dances with Wolves, directed by Kevin Costner and starring Kevin Costner and Mary McDowell. Premieres in Washington, D.C. Academy Award Best Picture, 1991.
Which robbed the real Best Picture that year and Best Director, Martin Scorsese and Goodfellas. Becoming the second movie.
Hold on,
Kevin
Costner beat Scorsese. What the
he beat
frick?
Scorsese in 1991 for Best Director. This is the second time in Scorsese's career he was beaten by an actor for Best Director.
Hilarious.
What was the first time?
First time was 1980 when he lost for Raging Bull to Robert Redford for Ordinary People.
Wow.
Which we talked about last week when Robert Redford died. What's the last one you got there, sir? Oh, here's the winner.
Sorry.
Take your time.
1981 Marvel film, Eternal, directed by Chloe Zhao.
Mm-hmm. Chinese.
Starring in an ensemble cast including Jima Khan, Richard Madden, Chan. Oh yeah, Chan. I'm already getting blurred because I was pre-showing tonight.
Oh, you were pre-sloshed.
Pre-sloshed, yeah.
And Angelina Jolie premieres in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Remember this movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Hey, had a giant monster in it. Why haven't you did it?
Yeah, I know.
Mostly because I lost faith in the MCU by that point. So.
We always talk about, like we've mentioned Eternals before, is like we thought it probably would have been better as a Disney Plus series.
Yes.
Because then I've taken some time with it.
One of the many criticisms that I have heard of that movie.
That way you could have introduced each of the characters more and learn more about them instead of having a big.
Unfortunately, that was the peak of Marvel thinking that they were too big to fail and that they could make an entire, we'll say, phase of movies that were Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy was probably the biggest risk that they took in the lead up, in those first three phases, because almost nobody outside of hardcore, and I do mean hardcore comic book fans, knew who any of those characters were, and they succeeded. And now all of those characters are household names. And then they thought, oh, we can just keep doing that with every movie. No, you can't.
No.
Well, James Gunn also has a unique way of getting people invested in these like tertiary characters, because he kind of did it with Mr. Terrific in the last Superman movie. Like nobody really knew who that was, but he stood out as one of the best characters in the film.
Yeah, well, there are rumors swirling around that his days are a little more numbered. than we
Yeah,
thought.
I know, because the movies have been making the money that they thought they were going to make and all that. But that's every movie in Hollywood right now. 'Cause,
No movie's making any money in the
No.
box office.
Very few do.
yeah, I mean, there's still some that do well, but it's like the larger films like that, because they spend so much money on the marketing and everything else, that it's so hard for them to break even anymore.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I saw a YouTube video that was talking about an article that just got published where Disney decided to let everybody know how much Rise of Skywalker actually cost. Holy crap.
All I know is Tron Ares has only been out for a week, and Disney has already decided that they're not going to continue the Tron stories.
Well, they say that every time.
They should have said that.
All three Tron movies. All three Tron movies were not massive hits when they were released, but then they ended up developing a following later. Unfortunately, I don't know if Ares can pull that off. Speaking as someone who
Jared Leto as your lead.
Speaking as someone who is something of a Tron fan, I was disappointed.
Did you see the meme I sent you, Lee, where it was the guy? It was the scene from the Simpsons movie where they're putting the dome over. And he's standing right there, and it's like,
do I go in? Do I go out? Do I
go
go in?
in? And the whole thing was, do I support the Tron franchise or do I? But it's got Jared Leto in it, and he's going back and forth, and finally
then he gets crushed by the wall. All right, so we're going to go on to the next segment, because this is the one that it usually has the most research and preparation.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Kevin's here, he's here for beer. He's got news, it's beer for Kevin.
I don't know who records your jingles, but I'm jealous.
It is an AI music program. I'll send you the link.
Oh, okay. You made the. Is it Ash or Bishop?
Yeah.
It was Skynet. Run.
It was
It's
Data.
David. Yeah.
Data.
David.
It was
Oh,
Data.
no. Oh no!
It was lore.
Oh, you really got to run.
Yeah.
Featured in it.
All right. So, gentlemen, you may recall a few weeks ago we were talking about beer and ice cubes and how it was just vile. And
I still have nightmares about that.
And we had discussed how growing up we knew the best way to keep your beer cold was to have a chilled mug, right? Well, now they're saying the fastest way to ruin a good beer is by using a chilled glass.
That's those damn millennials taking that. You know.
That's right. Don't let the chill fool you.
You got a millennial in the call right now. I'm just saying.
There's a good reason you should never pour a well-made beer
You don't get it.
into a frosted glass. Serving beer in a frosted glass is a familiar gesture in many bars and restaurants, often guarded by thirsty patrons as a mark of thoughtful service and hospitality. The image of the glass shimmering with ice, promising instant refreshment and unparalleled enjoyment, became ingrained in American beer culture as a symbol of status, refinement, and best practice. But for those who cherish quality over outdated optics, the practice is not only unnecessary, it can actually diminish the experience of drinking a well-made beer. Don't believe it? Trust the science, or trust a side-by-side taste test and thank us later. In the mid-20th century, mass-market beers dominated the scene. Light lagers were largely designed for maximum refreshment rather than depth of flavor or complexity of aroma. These were beers that were easy to enjoy, meant to be consumed cold and quickly without much contemplation. As establishments sought to reinforce an allure of icy cold pour, the frosted glass became standard. Its frosty appearance, a visual promise of coolness and refreshment, and during warm summer months or in the smoky taverns, the chilled glass added appeal, making macro lagers, there we go, even more palatable by masking imperfections and sharpening their crisp, quaffable qualities. But the frosted glass doesn't serve all brews equally. While frosted glasses may suit lighter macro brews such as Budweiser, Miller, Coors, and Pabst Blue Ribbon, usually hidden within a paper bag, helping them stay cold and go down easily. For beers with more complexity than just being fizzy and yellow, the frosted effect can be surprisingly detrimental. The rise of the American craft brewing scene, with its more varied and nuanced beer styles, exposed the shortcomings of a frosted glass service. Beer is an intricate combination of flavors, aromas, and textures, each carefully considered to provide a unique and layered experience. A frosted glass, unfortunately, interferes with much of that craft. The ideal serving temperature for beer ranges from 35 degrees Fahrenheit to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the style.
I'm gonna step in there. They're not wrong.
No,
They're not wrong. I spent 4 years in Europe and Germany, and some of those beers are definitely better warm.
okay. I will, reserve to reserve to your judgment. I don't have the expert. I just know what I've gone with.
I know some bars in Ireland serve their Guinnesses so fresh you're still like tree branches floating in it.
Excessive cold suppresses the volatile compounds that give beer its aroma. These scents can include anything from floral notes to hops to fruity esters or spicy undertones imparted by yeast. Instead of greeting the senses with a vibrant bouquet, beer served in a frosted glass seems muted and subdued. Temperature may also play a crucial role in the perception of flavor. When beer is served too cold, its complexity flattens, leaving only a generic sense of chill. Those hints of caramel in your brown ale, sweet baking spices in your seasonal brew, or citrus snap in your favorite IPA, all lost to frost. Mouthfeel suffers too. Ice crystals on the frozen glass act as nucleation points, causing carbonation to rapidly escape and create an overly foamy head in the glass instead. Not only does the result of the frothy mess that's tough to drink through, but also leaves the beer flat by the time you're halfway through. Did this guy do this like Dr. Seuss? I mean, is it just me as I'm reading it? Does it sound very rhythmic?
I was thinking after you said overly, whatever, sense of chill or whatever it was. I was like, isn't that really how you describe somebody who thinks they're cool? Overinflated sense of chill.
All right, everyone, chill.
Okay, I am just going to, because it goes on more into the matter of hygiene. Glasses kept in freezers can absorb odors.
Your article goes more into the science, kind of like how Mike's article last week went heavy into history.
2 weeks ago.
The hygiene in the freezer, it accumulates residues, becomes dirty, and mystery molecules floating around in the freezer space.
Mystery molecules.
Yada, yada, yada. Ultimately, if a beer is served from a properly refrigerated kegger bottle, why should you need a chill in your glass at all? You wouldn't
Because
do
I
it
like
for
cold
wine.
beer.
You wouldn't do it for wine, so why single beer out? They are saying the only occasion, the rare occasion, that a frosted glass may be acceptable is when drinking an ultralight mass market lager, piss water. Sorry. Low
Miller,
alcohol beers.
Coors,
Blue
Michelob,
Ribbon, Natty Ice.
Natty Ice, little Pabst.
Your Clydesdale piss.
Yeah.
For these selections, the loss of flavor or aroma is negligible. And
There's no flavor or aroma to begin with.
And the chilled glass may indeed be adding pleasurable coolness to something already designed to be innocuous.
Okay,
We're
the
craft beer snobs.
way this article trashes the American beer, it sounds like Kevin wrote it.
Yeah.
American, those
But
type
but for any beer with craftsmanship, character, aroma, depth, a clean room temperature glass is best. Yada, yada, yada. Food and wine article. Okay. Now let's get into something a little more fun. Tracy woman charged with assaulting a victim with a beer bottle. This is out of Minnesota.
I was going to say
Of
this is like a
course.
Florida story.
Slayton, Minnesota. Sheena Marie Sean, 36 of Tracy is charged with Murray County 5th District Court with second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon and a third-degree assault leading to substantial bodily harm. Both felonies following an incident at a rural Tracy tavern. According to the law enforcement report, deputies with the Murray County Sheriff's Office responded to a report of an assault at 1:06 a.m. on September 28th. When they arrived at the scene, they found a victim standing outside the tavern covered in blood. The victim reportedly had a large laceration on the left side of their head and stated they were involved in an argument with Sean. Sean. Sorry, Sean.
Long.
Not
Wow.
Schlong, Sean. According to the report,
That was
Great ass! And you got your head all the way up it!
I was going to say that sounded dangerously close to Rule 34 territory there.
Actually, no, what she said when she grabbed that beer bottle was,
Around a bit. Good. I'm ready, man. Check it out. I am the ultimate badass. Badass hard. You do not want to fuck with me.
Mike and I like to play Drop Wars.
Sean allegedly struck the victim in the head with a beer bottle, causing a laceration on the victim's face and back of their head. Sean reportedly fled the scene immediately after the attack. Deputies spoke with potential witnesses at the tavern, all of whom stated they did not see the assault and refused to give statements. The victim was transported to Marshall Emergency Room. On the 29th, Sean reportedly arrived at Murray County Sheriff's Office to drop off a written statement regarding the incident. She was arrested and held in court. And that's it. That's what I got. So, up.
All right. So we are nowhere near the main segment yet, and I've already finished my main beer and my backup beer.
Uh-oh.
So you know what that means.
I'm in danger.
Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates Leo.
Yeah, I never think about it before I do my movie updates, but when my movie update is the kind of movie update I have tonight, I probably shouldn't play my intro song. First update we got tonight is that legendary actress and Academy Award winner for movies like Annie Hall, The Godfather, Part 1, 2, and 3, Father of the Bride, etc., Diane Keaton passed away this week at the age of 79.
Leo's first crush.
Diane Keaton? No.
I would say pour one out, but I don't know if you guys would do that.
No, that's a waste of beer.
Yeah.
Also passing away this week at 78 years old is Drew Struzan, popular movie poster artist. In case you have no idea who he is the visionary behind the original posters for the Star Wars trilogy, Indiana Jones, E.T., Back to the Future, etc.
He illustrated all the great ones.
All the greats, like all these like classic iconic movie posters that everybody even like just picture in their heads.
Yeah,
like,
and as from what I hear, I think he was still
that is
he was
Drew
still
Struzan.
working and illustrating at least up to I want to say The Force Awakens.
Yeah, because if you look at that movie poster, it's got a very similar style to the original films. Like he's somebody like you see his posters, you know it's the same artist. It's very similar. I think he even did the Goonies.
Yes,
all these very similar styles. So that's all I got tonight for my movie updates. Mike, you have any must-try beer or craft destinations for this evening?
Actually, no. We have
a bourbon. Look at this.
I must try bourbon tonight.
Must-try bourbon.
Eagle Rare 17-year-old bourbon that doesn't need to prove itself. Eagles Rare's not chasing hype. It is the hype. A bourbon so heavy it doesn't even need to be star of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection to steal the show. 3 decades in, it's already carved out a legacy most labels would only dream about. The 10-year? That's the one people fight over on allocation lists. The 17-year? That's for those who already won the war. Crack the bottle and it hits you first with the white wine and clover, and then a slap of ethanol that takes a few minutes to settle down.
My wife just walked in the room. She must be listening from the other room. She just walked in and handed me a glass of water and a Gatorade.
Oh, what the hell? A slap of ethanol that takes a few minutes to settle down. Give it time. Once it opens up, the nose smooths out and the palate snaps from aspen sharp to rich oak and cracked pepper. The rye speaks louder than it should for a Buffalo Trace. Low rye mash bill, only about 10%. But you'll swear that it was double that. Maybe that's what happens when 70% of your batch disappears to the angels. Aging in barrels where the heat cooks off twice as fast as normal. It went in at 125 proof and got pulled back down to the original 101 for bottling. A callback to the 2002 debut. The results walk a fine line between bold and balanced. There's a hint of earth in there, not green, not vegetal, more like fresh soil after rain. The official notes talk about dark cherry and chocolate, and sure, they're there, but less sweet this year, more grounded. Let it roll around long enough, and you'll catch the almonds sneaking through at the end. This isn't a dessert bourbon. It's the kind that makes you sit up straight. Less sugar, more steel. Eagle Rare 17 doesn't beg for attention. It earns it.
Yes. And my wife brought me water and Gatorade. She's worried about me. Little does she know, after the break, I'll be back with a third beer. We're going to take a quick break. We hear some word from our Podnation Media Network, and then we'll be back with our main segment. Hey, movie lovers. This is Leo.
Mike.
And Kevin from Films and Fermentation.
If you love comedy, movies, and a good drink in hand, then you need to check out the Podnation Media Network.
It's home to a variety of amazing podcasts covering everything from pulp culture to history and, of course, movies like ours.
And the best part, Podnation Media Network is featured on Roku, so you can stream your favorite podcasts anytime.
Alongside Films and Fermentation, you'll find other fantastic shows like the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Real Sharks, and so many more.
So grab a drink, press play, and join the fun with Podnation Media Network.
Because everything's better with a little comedy, movies, and booze.
Learn more by going to linktree.com/PodNationPods. Thank you for hanging out with us during that quick break where we heard from Podnation Media Network. We are back with our main segment for this evening, the first part in what I hope is a recurring series, Sequel Wars, where we are going to be looking at Alien from 1979 versus Aliens from 1986. Before we get to the discussion, let me give you a quick little dossier checklist here. The original film, Alien, came out in 1979, was directed by Ridley Scott. Comes in at a lean, mean 147 minutes. The tagline for the film, in space, no one can hear you scream. One of the best taglines of all time.
Yes.
It stars Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean Stanton, John Hurt, Ian Holm, and Yaphet Kotto.
I forgot Veronica Cartwright was in this.
Veronica Cartwright was the other.
Yeah, I just saw the 1976. I think it's 76. 1976 remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers for the first time, and I was like, she looks familiar. Why do I know her? Now I've been reminded.
She's the annoying woman from Alien.
Yeah.
What's the death count in that movie?
Everybody but Sigourney Weaver and the cat.
Yeah. So that's
this
about.
movie was released on May 29th, 1979, Memorial Day weekend. It had a budget of $11 million, which was pretty good for 1979.
Yeah.
And grossed worldwide $109 million plus.
I would call that a success.
It was a success. Here was its ranking in the 1979 Box Office Mojo ranks. Alien was the 5th highest grossing movie of the year in 1979. Anybody want to take a guess what the top 4 were in 1979?
1979 top 4?
Yeah.
I
So
want to
Aliens
say I want to say Star Trek: The Motion Picture was on that list.
Star
but I
Trek:
could
The
be
Motion Picture is number 4 at the box office that year,
Ooh.
just beating out Alien. Number 3 at the box office that year, Rocky 2.
That makes sense.
Number 2, I was shocked by this one. I knew it did well, but I didn't think it did better than Alien. Number 2, The Amityville Horror.
Oh,
Ooh.
Box office. And the number 1 film of 1979, Superman.
that's right. Yes, Superman. I forgot that was 79. By the way, to put things into perspective, $11 million in 1979, I went to inflation calculator for this, is equivalent to about 49 million today.
Which is still not enough for most major pictures at this point.
Yeah. And you said, what was its gross? So
109 million plus.
109 million. Well, let's see how much that would be now. All right. So 100.
Maybe around 300 or 400 million.
$486 million.
So it definitely would have been a success with that kind of profit margin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So in case you've never seen a 1979 Alien before, here's a quick synopsis for you. In Alien, a crew of space truckers learns the hard way that answering random distress calls from spooky derelict ships is a terrible idea. After bringing aboard what looks like a leathery space egg, one unlucky crewman gets a new chest cavity feature courtesy of a baby monster that grows up faster than a Reddit conspiracy theory.
Oh, shit.
Ripley, the only one with common sense and a cat, spends the rest of the movie proving why HR should never hire anyone who ignores quarantine protocols.
I am resisting the urge to hit the air horn button on my soundboard with those sick burns.
I have something to share if you'll let me.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Hold on.
He's never done this before.
I know. I've been trying to join the soundbite war.
Semi-professional podcaster here.
He's trying to share screen. I can tell. Hold on.
Than The Godfather, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Superman, the Ridley Theater.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
Sunday, the Ridley Theater in Fort Worth had the biggest day in its entire history. It sold more than The Godfather, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Superman, and Love Story. But the biggest surprise to theater employees is the number of parents bringing young children to see Alien. Did you know that this was an R-rated movie when you brought him?
Yes, we did.
Are you sorry you brought him?
We did.
Yes, I am.
Are you glad you saw it? Yeah. Are you sorry, sir, that you brought your son along to see Alien?
No, ma'am, I think you should have seen it. It's something that he needs to know, that things like that could happen in life. It could be a true story based on science. We never know what's going on the
It
outside
could
of the
be a
world.
true story based on science.
Did the movie scare you at all? Yes, ma'am, it did.
We take him to see a lot of
Yes,
horror
ma'am,
pictures and things like, because we like horror movies. We're horror buffs, I guess.
Would you recommend to your little friends who are your age to go see it?
No, I wouldn't.
According to the National Association of Broadcasters Code, television cannot show you the more violent scenes from Alien. Several adults have walked out of the movie, but no parents with children have been seen leaving early. At $4 a ticket, perhaps they feel they have too much invested. Or maybe moviegoers don't equate sci-fi fantasy with real violence. Or maybe, as psychologists keep telling us, we Americans are becoming more and more immune to excessive behavior. Bobby Wygant, the Texas News.
If by excessive behavior she means
Drinking alcohol? Yes.
no, I was thinking it's like the alien bursting out of chests and
Well, you
murdering
see,
people.
it's important to see a film like that because it could happen in
the
real life.
accents.
That's like
The accents are what kill me with that one. It's like,
For a
yes,
minute there, I
man, it
thought that was
did.
Mike when he
I
was
was
a kid.
I was like, she said it was a Fort Worth, so it's Texas. I have
Texas.
friends in Texas. They don't sound like this. They sound like they just moved there from like Alabama or something.
Mike grew up in North Carolina. For a minute there, I thought it was Mike as a kid being taken to theater with his parents. You're old enough, right, Mike?
I'm a
Yes.
I'm a born and raised
I'm
Hoosier
not.
boy. I'm as Midwest as they get, so I don't know.
In 79, I would have been 5. They would have taken-
Well, it sounds like you would have been just old enough to go
Yeah,
see
you
that
would have
movie
been
with some of the
age to
people.
learn about science.
That's the other part.
It's,
So
you know,
say
who knows?
this so
Could
you
be
can
happening
know,
along
so you
in
can
age
learn
if you
about
look at the
stuff like that
advances
might
in
happen in real
science.
life. I'm like, I mean, I know the xenomorph
That
is
guy's,
inspired by a real species of insect, but it's not like every insect does.
That's the reason. That guy's the reason they had to add at the end of the movies. The events depicted in this film are fictitious. No real person.
Man thinks that that xenomorphs are running around doing xenomorph things.
So we're putting Alien up against Aliens from 1986, which was directed by James Cameron. One of my favorite stories behind this movie is when they were trying to think of what to call it. They were calling it Alien 2 or some other kind of name or whatever. James Cameron walked up to the whiteboard in front of the producers and he wrote a $sign at the end of the word alien and said, "Here is your title."
I don't think I heard that story.
Yeah.
This did not have as lean a runtime as the first film because James Cameron loves his epic. So this one is 2 hours and 17 minutes. The tagline for this film is "This time there's more."
No, I thought it was "This time it's war."
Yeah, there was a bunch of different taglines. I picked this one out because I thought it was the most ridiculous.
Yeah, that is the most ridiculous.
This could have been describing Gremlins 2.
It could have been describing a lot of things.
A lot of movies.
Although I got to show this off. I wanted to bring this up and show it on show it on camera.
quadrilogy. Yeah.
Yeah, the original quadrilogy, which some say was the first ridiculous collector box set for physical media.
Yeah.
I've had this thing for a long time, and I don't know if I could get rid of it, to be honest. Even though I do plan on upgrading these.
If you take out 3 and 4 and just saw the first two, it'd probably be worth something.
Yeah, well,
Right, so the second film starred Sigourney Weaver, who had top billing this time around. She's also got an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress this year for this film. One of the few actresses to get an Academy Award nomination for a sci-fi film.
Yes.
Also starring Carrie Henn, Michael Biehn, Paul Reiser, Lance Hendrickson, Bill Paxton, William Hope, Jeanette Goldstein, Al Matthews, and Mark Ralston. Mark Ralston, for those of you who don't know, is the guy that was raping Andy Dufresne in prison in Shawshank.
He's in a lot.
This was released on July 18th, 1986. Budget was $18.5 million, not much more than the first film. The worldwide gross was $131 million plus. Here are your 1986 theater rankings. Aliens finished 1986, 5th in the box office, just like the original film.
Wow.
The consistent
Yes. This is 1986.
86.
Here are your
86.
top 4 films above Alien. In number 4, the Rodney Dangerfield classic, Back to School.
Back to school.
Love Back to School. Number 3, this time they're in Okinawa. The Karate Kid Part 2.
Oh, Karate Kid 2. Yeah.
Number 2, Crocodile Dundee.
That's not
That's
a
no
knife.
knife. This is a knife.
This is a knife.
Aliens.
Hey, there's our next one. Crocodile Dundee versus Crocodile Dundee 2.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Crocodile Dundee versus Alien, and I'm like, that would be
That'd
interesting.
be cool. And the number 1 film in 1986,
86, jeez.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
That would make sense. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense than the Crocodile Dundee at number 2.
Yeah, well.
Lay body count, please, for Aliens.
For Aliens, everybody except for Ripley, Newt, Michael
cat.
Biehn, and half of Lance Hendrickson.
I was going to say half of Bishop. Yeah.
half of Bishop. Although, if you watch the beginning of Aliens 3, you find out they all died except for Ripley. Here's your synopsis in case you've never seen Aliens. In Aliens from 1986, Ripley wakes up decades later only to find that the same company that got everyone killed last time has colonized the Death Planet because corporations never learn.
Yeah,
This
Wayland
time she-
Yutani.
Yeah, Wayland Yutani. This time she brings space marines who think they're in an action movie until the xenomorphs remind them that it's actually a horror film. The overconfident Space Marines are armed to the teeth, but get picked off faster than kids in a laser tag arena. Between saving a traumatized kid, roasting xenomorphs, and yelling, "Get away from her, you bitch!" Ripley cements herself as the galaxy's most badass final girl.
I wasn't sure when you said roasting. I didn't know if you meant with a flamethrower or with the insults.
Either way. All right.
So hold
ahead,
on.
Mike.
I have one thing to say about this main segment. It's going to happen.
On my mark.
We're on express elevator to hell. Go down.
Game over, man. Game over.
Oh, that's later on. I have it on here somewhere.
Oh, you don't need it. I got it.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over.
So should we just end the show now by saying Aliens 2 wins? Aliens wins because Bill Paxton's in it.
Some people think that it was this movie that actually popularized the phrase "game over" outside of arcades and video games.
Well, I think it popularized it more mainstream, because not everybody was a video game person.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
kids understood it, but not many adults. Anyway, so we have some discussion questions for tonight. These are just kind of like outline questions, not like we have to answer all of these, but I was just trying to kind of find a way to kind of argue the points between the two films, because I have a hard time myself trying to decide which one I like better.
Well, it all depends upon what kind of movie you want to watch.
Well,
yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to compare these. Yes, they're both excellent. They're both part of the same franchise, but they're both incredibly different, and that was intentional. James Cameron he had such respect for Ridley Scott in the original movie that he's like, I'm not going to try to replicate that. I'm just going to do something different.
And I think that
instead of doing a gothic horror movie, it's basically a haunted house in space. He went full action thriller with it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the first question here is how do they frame fear in the film? So like you said, Ridley Scott made it a haunted house in space.
Yeah.
You only have one alien.
Yeah.
Well, and the way of finding it or detecting it is just a tick, just a very soft pulse, which is going to build up anxiety and fear.
This movie,
and what's interesting is that there's a Dan O'Bannon, I think, isn't the screenwriter for the original movie. He cut his teeth doing B movies, and the crazy thing is, in the hands of any other director, I think, other than maybe Ridley Scott, it probably would have just come out as a B movie. But he elevates this, which is interesting because there were a bunch of Alien imitators that came out after this, and they were B movies. Yeah, they didn't get the memo. But
I love the fact that, because you're learning about the xenomorph for the first time. Like, we don't even know it's called xenomorph at this point. And I didn't rewatch both movies in whole this week because I've seen them enough times. So what I kind of did was strategically pick out certain scenes. And a scene that stands out to me in the first film is when Harry Dean Stanton is walking around by himself in the lower parts of the ship, and he discovers the discarded skin from the first time. The little chest burster molts, and all of a sudden it's gigantic. So it's these things grow quickly. And goes from this little tiny thing to this killing machine, almost instantaneously.
Yeah. Like I said, terrifying. The genres and tones are very different, but the first movie, I would say, going off of your question, which one, how do they? Well, what makes the original Alien work is there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of atmosphere, there's a lot of buildup to it, because they have no idea what they're getting themselves into with this. And because they don't know, the audience doesn't know, and we are equally as shocked and horrified as the characters are going through. And it's amazing how just this one alien can do that. But these characters are really just a bunch of blue-collar workers. They're space truckers, as you put it. They have no idea what they're getting into, which is one of the things that Cameron did that was very different.
I mean, Harry Dean Stanton and Yaphet Kotto spend the first half of the movie arguing over union dues.
Yeah. What makes the second one interesting is the way it makes the xenomorph scary is that now they're a horde. There's a bunch of them. Yeah, it makes sense because they're going up against trained space marines, who are going to be more. They can, if they were just dealing with one, this movie would be over in 30 seconds. But because there's a ton of them, that becomes a really big problem. So the threat matches the protagonists. I would say.
And that helped the first one with the fear and everything was the payoff. The monster is definitely the payoff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, H.R. Geiger's
Spending a lot of time waiting.
Yeah, H.R. Geiger's reveal the image of it.
Look, is
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been it could have been a flop if it came out looking like the monster from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, like there's the scene where Harry Dean Stanton gets killed, and it's the first time you see the alien in full.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite, like, oh shit, I know I'm dead scenes in film.
Mm-hmm.
He turns around, he sees the monster, the mouth opens, the little second mouth comes out very slowly, and he cuts to Harry Dean Stanton's face, and he's like, fuck. And, like, the rest of the audience is like, fuck, as well, because he's done.
But also going with what Nate was saying, like, in the first film, you see the face hugger, but it's a very quick, pop out and attach it, and that's the extent of it. Whereas in Aliens, they're like weaponized, the eggs open and you see them crawl, you see them hunt, if you will.
Well, I think
Newt and
one is when they go onto the planet and they see all the eggs, and you already know what the eggs are. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah. At this point, the fear is that you know what's coming, and you're terrified because you know that they don't know what's coming.
Yes,
right.
And you're fearful for them.
Yeah,
Where in the first film, you're like, So I also like the first film. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Nate?
I was just saying, one interesting thing both of these movies have in common, as different as they are, is they make you wait about 30, 40 minutes before showing any of the monsters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the opening credits, even though you would think James Cameron would think, well, I can get away with showing the monster relatively early because people already know what it looks like. No, he doesn't. So he can build up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I also love in the first one the reveal of Ash as the
villain.
Like you don't know he's the robot till the end, and then you find out that he's working for the corporation to bring this alien back. That reveal is great too, and it makes Bishop's reveal as a android better because he's not evil.
Right.
And you're wondering about it the whole film.
Waiting for him to turn in the whole film. Yeah.
And he ends up saving her and Newt at the end. Like he's part of the reason they survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I love all those little reveals. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's another source of tension in the second movie. Well, and then the first movie as well, is that it's not just the monsters that the heroes have to worry about, it's each other, because tensions start ramping up because people just, with Ripley, she doesn't trust Bishop because of her experience in the first movies.
Yeah.
But then she ends up learning to trust Bishop.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say one thing that I don't know whether or not it's a disservice. I enjoy seeing extended scenes or seeing the scenes, the director's cut, if you will. And I know with Aliens, they had an entire thing with Newton following her family as they go to explore the alien ship. And I don't know if that would have taken away from the horror or added to the horror, because it's a family going essentially to its death, and it's cut in between portions of, I believe, and I could be wrong, like the cutscenes are in between the portions of Ripley being found, in the pod, and how it's revealed that the there's been loss of communication on the terraforming station.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like the idea of like her discovering Newt and not seeing the backstory of it, because I think it's a lot more terrifying to try to imagine what this kid went through.
Okay.
And
What's interesting is that James Cameron with Aliens was, I don't know if he was the first, but he was one of the first directors to popularize the director's cut of movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's probably one of the first, I would assume, for that. Yeah, because he had a lot of like extra footage that was cut out. And I can imagine the movie was already like 20 minutes longer than the original film.
Yeah, 2.5 hours already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he wrote it too. So this is very much a singular vision that we're seeing with Aliens.
So that's a good shift into the next little discussion question here. Does the shift from horror to sort of like action Is it an evolution for the film or a dilution of the original idea?
I know some people say it's a dilution, but at the same time, like I said, James Cameron was like, I can't do what Ridley did. I'm just going to do something different. I respect him for doing that, because I don't think you can catch that lightning in a bottle again, because we've seen multiple attempts. Most of the other sequels are trying to be the original movie, and they don't quite get there for whatever reason.
I don't think that kind of movie can make it if it didn't change.
Yeah.
It's not Friday the 13th. It's not Nightmare on Elm Street. It's still a sci-fi movie. So I think it had to move on, because the alien has no real personality, so you can't work off of that. It's just to scare the monster.
It's not a slasher flick.
Right.
Yeah, it's sci-fi, it's cosmic horror, it's whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think it's an evolution, because I think James Cameron had the right idea, kind of changing the genre a little bit. It's still horror, but it's not the atmospheric horror that the first film was.
Now,
I would kind of compare it to like Terminator versus Terminator 2.
Right.
Very similar vibe.
If Scott didn't make it the haunted house version as it was, I don't think the franchise would have kept going. If it went from action to action, I think it would have died.
No, I agree. I think it worked best that way. I also love the lived-in feel of the film.
Yes.
I love how
the
ships are dirty.
Yeah.
And look like they're lived in. Like, these people are in there for months, smoking around each other. It's got to smell like shit. And sweat.
That was, from what I can remember, that was a production design decision that they made, which went very counter to, more specifically, I would say Star Trek, with its very clean, militaristic look and feel to those ships. Star Wars, to a certain extent, has some of that, but it depends on where you are, because there are portions of Star Wars that are very lived in.
It's like, depends on, like, if you're like a rogue like Han Solo in a Millennium Falcon, where like the ship's always falling apart. Or if you work for the Empire in these like stylish, clean ships that are,
again, very militaristic. But this, like I said, that first movie, these are blue collar workers. Driving a semi truck, a giant semi truck in space.
It'd be like the equivalent of like contractors working on a construction site. Like, this is just a bunch of blue collar workers in a spaceship that are flying forever.
On the flip side, you would think, being in the military prior myself, that the Marines would have been more dressed and cleaned up.
James Cameron, like I said, thanks to this DVD set, I've watched all this. I think I've watched all the special features on this thing, and James Cameron admitted, I say they're Marines, but they act more like Army grunts.
Yeah.
He's well aware of that. I think he kind of considers it a bit of a mistake on his part as a screenwriter, that he should have, if they're Marines, he should have written them differently.
Well, they're military like that. They're more like mercenaries.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, they're not really like
military.
Strict military. Yeah, they feel more like mercenaries. So that's like our lived-in question. So let's look at this one here. Which film gives Ripley the most agency, you think? Defying the company in the first film, or saving Newt in the second film? Like, what is her biggest agency?
My instincts say Aliens. I mean, what she does in the first movie is great, but the thing that's interesting about that, Sigourney Weaver's not given top billing. And she ends up being the only survivor, and she's probably one of the people you wouldn't, going in there not knowing a thing about it, she wouldn't have necessarily been at the top of your list to be the one person who makes it out.
Well, this is like her first major film role.
Yeah, that as
she
well.
Was a stage actress, and Tom Skerritt is top billing. He was the big star in the film.
Yeah, so it's subversive in that regard, but she goes along with everything for a while, and at the end says, "Screw it."
What are you gonna say, Mike?
Where
I think if she didn't defy the company in the first one, you wouldn't think she would do what would happen later in the second one. Yeah.
Mhm.
She needed that defining moment in the first one, in the second one to be who she is.
For sure.
In
So-
the
Oh, for
second one, she's this badass woman using the top loader to defeat the queen alien at the end of the film. In the first one, she's this scared woman who just uses tiny panties to distract the alien.
She's Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor. Yeah.
Well,
but-
yeah,
and
yeah,
again, it's the
actually-
Terminator 1, Terminator 2.
I was going to say, yeah. Well, and Cameron, the reason he got this movie is because of the unexpected success of the first Terminator. So it would make sense that he would go from writing Sarah Connor in the first Terminator to writing Ellen Ripley. And actually, it was Cameron who gave her a first name.
Yeah. She was just
Nobody
Ripley
had a
in the
first name in the original movie.
No.
I have to thank my wife for giving me this Gatorade because I'm starting to feel it after that second caramel pumpkin ale that I drank.
I'm on my second
Mixed drink.
Yeah.
The one made by Bishop. Yeah. But I would say, like, when you look at her and throughout the entirety of Aliens, yes, she needed that moment of defying Wayland in the first movie to be here, but she spends the whole movie saying, like, screw all of you. You don't know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like she you remember at the beginning when she's introduced to the Marines for the first time, she's trying to explain it, and they're like fucking with her and joking with her and not taking it seriously. And then it's like, well, she tried to tell you guys, the only one who takes her seriously is Michael Biehn.
Yes,
from Terminator.
Yeah. So going to that, then who's the best supporting foil, Ash or Bishop? That's a tough one because they're two different people.
Yeah, my instinct says it's Ash because Ash ends up being an actual antagonist, whereas Bishop, yes, is an android, created by Wayland Yutani, but he ends up not just being a slave to the company.
Right.
Good idea.
Believe me, not to. I may be synthetic, but I'm not stupid.
I also love the fact that they cast Lance Hendrickson to play Bishop because he doesn't look like he should be kind.
You're right.
Lance Hendrickson's got a very
creepy look.
Yeah, he does, and that's another James Cameron holdover because he was in the original Terminator and was at one point going to be the Terminator.
He was.
But then Schwarzenegger said, like, I want to be the robot. And then Cameron's like, well, it makes a little less sense with Arnold, but I can't,
well,
he wants to do it.
He wanted Lance Hendrickson, but the studio wanted O.J. Simpson.
Oh, jeez.
So Arnold was kind of like the compromise. He was like the middle ground between Lance Hendrickson and O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, well, and then the interesting thing is Cameron originally wanted Schwarzenegger to be Kyle Reese. But he's like, I want to be the robot.
I will impregnate her very fast.
But no, but it makes sense. I would love to see the alternate universe where Lance Henriksen was still the Terminator, because you're right. He does have a scary face.
He also has, like, you wouldn't second guess him because he doesn't look like Arnold.
Yeah.
Like he's not as
Cameron's
anyway, getting back to Ash versus Bishop, like,
that it's in California. A guy that big walking around LA is not going to be too weird.
Muscle Beach, So, like, getting back to the foil question, like, foil by definition is antagonist. So, like, Ash is the antagonist. He's like the alien. The xenomorph is doing what it does by instinct. Ash is actually the villain. A foil is a character who acts as a contrast to the protagonist. Hero.
So, which could be a villain, or it could just be another character who is very unlike.
By that definition, and the foil in Aliens is Paul Reiser.
Yeah,
well, it's Paul Reiser, and it's also the Marine, the clean cut Marine. I can't think of his name. Gorman.
Lieutenant. Yeah, Lieutenant Gorman.
Yeah, but actually, now that you bring that,
he goes out as a hero at the end.
Yeah. Now that you bring that up, Leo, that's a good point, because the company guy is way more of a drone than Bishop is.
Oh yeah.
That's the irony.
Paul Reiser's he's a funny stand-up comic. I liked him in Mad About You, but he is a dick in this film. Like, he is so horrible in this movie.
Yeah, I think I remember years ago reading I think it might have been in Starlog magazine, and they had this funny little article with this sidebar with like this, it was like a graph that had all these different categories of things that all the Alien movies had in common, and one of them was lunch meat future star, and Paul Reiser was the one for this movie.
Right. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but let's look at this a little bit more in depth here. Do the practical effects still hold up today?
Yes.
And on top of that, which has the better reveal? Seeing the alien for the first time in the first film, or when the queen alien shows her full size?
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with the first time the alien scene.
I have to give it to that first one because nobody had seen a monster like that.
No.
On screen before. Nothing like that. Like, you might have gone into this, especially with how very similar to a B movie this would have been, and you would have expected to see something kind of schlocky, maybe a little bit silly, and you get the exact opposite.
Yeah. You get the alien from Mac and Me, and it just doesn't hold the same kind of terror. Don't get me wrong, there is some terror. I mean, that alien was also very scary.
Falls off the cliff in a wheelchair.
Hey, Mac and Me is
ET's a
rip-off of Mac.
I was gonna say like the ants and them.
Oh yeah.
Hey! I've done an episode.
No, I like them. I'm not knocking. I love B movies. I'm a B movie guy.
It's not a B movie. Two, I think they only had
not a B movie.
There are no B's in that movie.
Where's my rim shot? There you go. But no, I was actually going to say the most impressive thing about them is I think they only had, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 of those ant props. And through clever editing and filming, they made those 2 or 3 look like an entire horde. Just saying.
All right. Anyway, which scene is more iconic? And I think I know this one, but the alien chest burster scene in the first film, or aliens get away from her, you bitch.
I think if we're talking general audiences, it's the chest burster.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about like sheer BA moments, probably get away from her, you bitch, because it's so highly quotable.
I love it, but I'm going with the chest burster scene only because if you're iconic enough to be spoofed by Mel Brooks.
Hello, my lady.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime guy.
Yeah.
Not again.
Yeah, that was John Hurt.
This guy's some water. Screw the water. Get this boy some Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol. Yeah, nobody saw something like that coming.
No.
Like the interesting thing about the original Alien is there's not a lot of gore in it, but when it has those gore moments, oh boy, do you remember them.
I thought about that.
And the chest burster scene is that.
Yeah, that's the gore. Because I was in the rewatch the other night that I did. Like when Harry Dean Stanton gets killed, you don't really see it. You hear it. You hear him screaming, but you don't really see the blood. You see a little bit of blood, but it kind of like cuts away real quickly. And the same thing with Yafukoto and the other woman, Cartwright, Nancy Cartwright's death. Like they're same thing. Like you don't see them make them cut away.
Adds to the suspense of the film
because it also exactly because it also does it with Tom Skerritt's death because he's in the tunnel.
Yep,
he's in the duct and he turns around and the alien's right there and it's just like a major jump scare.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of those. It's very much about atmosphere and tension. With that's something both these movies have in common with the scanners, those motion detectors. And what makes the original scary is that they use it, but it doesn't entirely work because
the first
obviously one guy got caught from behind, and
the first film is more economical in how it uses its horror.
Yeah. Whereas with the aliens, they used that to show just how many of those there were, and the fact that there's a ton of them is what and they're fast. That's what
So-
makes them scary.
My last question I have on here is a bonus one. It really doesn't have anything to do with the argument between the two. It's just something that I thought about the other night in the rewatch that I did. Like, Kane should never have come out of quarantine after being attacked by the facehugger.
Right.
Even after the facehugger came off and died, like, they should have kept him in quarantine for a while. During the dinner scene, when the chest burster is beginning to come out of his chest, you look, they cut to Ash, and he doesn't look surprised at all. He looks very, like, intrigued and, like, can't wait to see what's going to happen. Do you think he knew that the fetus was in them all the whole time? I kind of think he does. Because
I think he did.
Idea.
I
He's the
think he
science
did.
officer.
And
Yeah.
it's, I think if you go just off of that movie, he probably saw it in the medical examination and probably didn't say anything. If you want to include the AVP movies, Weyland-Yutani's been aware of the existence of the xenomorphs for a very long time, but the AVP movies are not considered
You watched
canon.
Romulus. What did the Ash scene in Romulus teach you?
So very interesting.
Other than Ian Holm as a CGI version of
Jeez,
himself.
that weird CGI. I don't think it was AI, but good lord.
It was no, it wasn't AI, but I would say it's CGI, and it was done very well. And the character's Rook, and it does do a job on tying things together. It even makes reference to information sent from Elizabeth Shaw from Prometheus, so it does go back that far. And then it begins to tie together just the problem with humanity is that humanity always dies. Humanity always fails given to extreme things. And he's like, no, the only way to perfect humanity is to make it immune to everything. And that's where he even goes into like the black goo and stuff like that. So it is kind of brought up that way.
Actually, Ripley had the best line about humanity in the second movie.
It's pathetic.
Bert, I don't know which species is worse. You don't see them fucking each other over for a goddamn percentage.
Yeah, that is like Buddha level inspiration right there. All right, so
that sounds like a game you could play. Buddha or Ripley.
All right, so it comes down to a final vote now. So here I'm gonna go through each question, and we're gonna go around the horn. Who framed fear better, Ridley Scott in Alien or Cameron in Aliens? Mike?
Scott.
Dev?
Scott.
Nate?
Scott.
And I say the same thing. So that's 4 for the first film. So Alien. Horror versus action count as evolution or dilution. Which is the better? Which genre do you like better between the two films? The horror of the first or the action of the second? Mike?
I'm going to go with the action. I'm more of an action guy.
Kevin?
Action, yeah.
All right, Nate?
That's hard for me because Alien is one of my favorite horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
One of the few that I can, that I can tolerate and actually really like, because I'm not as much of a horror guy as other people I know.
Mm-hmm.
So on that regard, I want to give it to Alien, but Aliens is a bit more my style. So I think just for that, as much as I adore how good the horror is in the original, I think I am going to give it to Aliens for that reason. But it's a tough choice. It is I almost have to flip a coin.
That's 3 for Alien with the $sign on the end. And I'm going with the original film because I am more of a horror guy than an action guy. Like I'm of the 3 of us, the guy that watches the most horror films. So
right.
Which film exploits hostility better? The first film for its haunted house in space, or the second film for its colony as war zone? Mike?
The first one.
All right. Kev?
First one.
All right. Nathan?
The original.
Yeah, and I'm going with the original as well. So that's 4 for that one.
I mean,
Let's see.
the tagline, "In space, no one can hear you scream." That is, it really gets it.
I love that tagline. Which movie shows Ripley's agency the strongest, the first or the second? Mike?
I would say it's, even though the first one is where she changes, I think the second one is more.
It's more her film.
For her film. So it's the second one.
I'm going with the second one too, Kev.
I'm also going with the second one and throwing a party apparently by doing that.
Apparently, there's balloons popping up for some reason.
Do it over there.
And Nathan,
I want to see if it works for me.
you have a Mac in front of you because he's on a MacBook.
That's why it worked for me. See, I don't have a Mac, so
I don't have.
But
a
yeah,
Mac
but no,
either.
I'm going with the second one. Although Mike makes a very good observation without her saying "screw you, Wayland" at the end of the first one, we wouldn't get the second one.
Right.
All right, next question. Which had the better tiny panty scene, Alien or Aliens?
Well, the first one wins by default.
The first one was by default. First one's amazing. Anyway, best foil is Ash versus Bishop. I think, like, because we talked about the defining thing here, so I'm going to change it. Best foil, Ash versus Paul Reiser.
Oh.
I'm still going with Ash in the first film because I feel like Alien had an amazing reveal with him being a robot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what are you going with?
I'm going with Ash.
Okay. Kevin?
I'm going with Paul Reiser. I mean, to
Okay.
turn on your own.
I hear you. And Nathan?
That is a good point. I almost would have changed my vote just based on that. Because he's, like we said, he's more of an android than Bishop is, but I'm still going to go with Ash because the reveal that he's a robot is
no, you're right.
It's quite shocking. It's one of the most shocking moments of the entire movie, and it has nothing to do with the alien.
Right.
Yeah.
But one of the parts I like, or one of the reasons for Paul Reiser too, is because he's human, he also fears these things. He's willing to do it, but he's also got that degree of fear.
I talked about Harry Dean Stanton's "Oh shit, I'm dead" moment being great.
Mhm.
His "Oh shit, I'm dead" moment.
Oh yeah, when he opens the door
awesome.
It's one,
because it's "Oh shit, I'm dead," but it's also very satisfying.
it is because his greed is overriding his fear, which
and then his
stayed. If you stop
in
and
that
think
last moment, he's like, "I should have been afraid all along."
Yep.
Which movie feels more lived in, Mike?
I'm going with the first one.
I'm going with the first one as well, Kev.
First one.
Nathan.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, the first one's definitely feels like it's more lived in. Second one still has a gritty quality to it, but I feel like it's a little more stylized because it's an action film.
Well, it's also because it takes place on a space colony.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like they're visiting an entire community, whereas this is one very contained ship.
Yeah.
Where a handful of people live.
One ship where it
and-
feels like nobody showered for 6 months.
Yes. Handful of years because they're in cryogenic sleep, but
Yeah. First Alien versus Aliens for best reveal.
Oh, first.
I know Mike says the first one already. I'm going with the first one.
First one.
Yeah, and Nathan.
I love the Alien Queen. I know the Alien Queen is apparently divisive for
No, I think
some
it's-
Alien fans. I
cool
don't really
effect.
understand why, but I'm going with the first one because
Yeah, I gotta go.
nobody expected to see a monster like that.
Okay, and most iconic scene, the chest burster, or "Get away from her, you bitch." I'm going chest burster.
Chest burster.
Chest burster.
And Nathan?
Chest burster.
All right, so I could add up the scores here, but I don't think it matters. So we got 4, 5, 9, 12, 16, 20, 24 points for Alien, and then 3, 7, 8, and 8 points for Aliens. So it looks like, based on those scores, Alien wins the sequel wars of our very first sequel wars episode. Now, that doesn't mean it definitely is the better film. It's an objective, category. If you out there, the listeners, feel that Aliens is the better film, I'd love to hear you write to us, either at our email or on one of our social media, and let us know what you think is the better film, Alien or Aliens. Mike, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say this about this real quick, is compared to most sequels, these two are excellent. Because a lot of times you get a sequel that's not that great.
If we do another one of these, like, I kind of want to stick to just iconic sequels. So, like, if we do this again, I would love to do like Godfather versus Godfather 2, Terminator versus Terminator 2.
Yeah, it would say Terminator 1 and 2, Star Wars versus Empire Strikes Back.
I would love to do that for Star Wars Day for May 4th. Like, I would love to do Star Wars versus Empire. I would
Motion
like
Picture versus Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan.
Ooh, that would be that would be an
Jaws
interesting one.
versus
That-
Jaws
that'd be an
2.
interesting one.
Jaws
because
versus
again, that's no contest. But
Revenge of the Nerds versus Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
That's one of the few ones where the second one is actually better than the first movie.
Star Trek, yeah. I'm Wrath of Khan all the way.
Wrath of Khan is my favorite movie. So
you can't go wrong with that. I won't argue that pick. Mike, you have any beer history or trivia for us this evening, sir?
I have this day in beer history. On this day in 1941, as the United States braced for the growing likelihood of war, the federal government halted civilian use of tin, effectively ending canned beer production for the duration. Only months later, the restrictions extended to steel, sharply reducing the supply of bottle caps. Across the country, bar rooms posted signs that read, "When you order beer from this tap, you save a cap." At Coors, delivery crews collected these caps from taverns, while teams back at the brewery painstakingly straightened and salvaged them for reuse. A small but telling snapshot of wartime resourcefulness.
I kind of love this fact, honestly.
I collect all my bottle caps. I reuse them for art projects.
Oh, there you go. I actually
here.
I was at a convention over the summer. I was tabling there, and we had a booth neighbor, my friend and I. It was like a little bit down in a side row. He made very detailed. They almost looked like paintings. These art pieces using shredded candy wrappers.
Interesting. So, Kev, we got a cinema quote of the week here.
We do. And I have a question for you, gentlemen.
Yes, I would like you to do your Michael Caine impression.
You get paid the same for a bad film as you do for a good one. Gentlemen.
Yes.
What do you call an illegal narcotic that brings you up when you own it?
An illegal narcotic that brings you up when you own it.
Michael Caine.
My cocaine.
My cocaine.
cocaine.
I was going to say that could have been a lot of things in college.
The dad jokes are aplenty.
Yeah, I love this quote from Michael Caine because it reminds me of his quote about Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
When asked about his participation in the film, he said, "Well, I can't say I've seen the film, but I have seen the house that it bought."
Yeah, he bought the house for his mother. With the
house
money
for his
from that
mom.
film,
Yeah, from that film. How are our drinks this evening, gentlemen?
Well, I'm halfway through my second one.
I drank 3 beers tonight, and I'm kind of glad my wife handed me a Gatorade.
It's officially fall when it's pumpkin in the Kevman house.
I love the caramel pumpkins. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
good. How
I
was
gotta
your,
say, I've been enjoying this. I'm probably going to start getting these a little more often.
Yeah, I have to tell my wife about that because she loves the Arizona green teas. So try that out.
Yeah, I was also at a grocery store today, and I went through their alcohol section, and they actually sold. I don't know if it was specifically this, but they had other flavors of fermented Arizona tea related things and like 6-packs and all that. And at the gas station where I got that, they also had. It wasn't green tea. I think it was actual sweet tea. It was like this.
Oh,
yeah, Mike's all about that.
Or no, not sweet tea. It was lemon. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I grabbed the green tea because I like the green tea.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight for episode 213, Sequel Wars: Alien versus Aliens. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. And we'd like to thank Nathan from the Monster Island Film Ball podcast for joining us. Can you tell everybody where they can find you at, sir?
You can follow go check out the podcast, I should say, on monsterislandfilmvault.com. That I have links to all the socials where you can, where you can follow it. It's on basically everything at this point: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those fun things, X, whatever you want to call it. And you can also check out my author website, nathanjsmarchand.com, because I am also a writer and an author as well as a podcaster. I also do another show that's not part of Podnation, but it's very related to the Monster Island Film Vault that's called Henshin Power V3, where three friends have 3 minutes to talk about tokusatsu. That one's focused more on Henshin heroes and TV. And our gimmick is that we talk about 5 to 10 episodes of TV, but we only can talk about each episode for 3 minutes.
Nice.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also...
Go ahead.
I just got one more thing to mention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also a member of the stable of actors for Scyther Podcast. So if you're looking to hear some very high quality fan produced audio dramas based on superhero properties, go listen to their shows. I've been on Power Rangers, the audio drama, as Rito, one of the bad guys. I'm Rito Repulsa's brother. And on X-Men, the audio drama, of all people, I have been Deadpool.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. Definitely.
Yeah. And I'm only in one episode, though. I'll tell you which one later. And on Avengers, the audio drama, whenever the Avengers cross over with the Fantastic Four, I'm Johnny Storm, baby. Human Torch. So, yeah.
So to piggyback off of that, you can find us at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. I can't be outdone there. I am also a published author. I have a sci-fi novel called Isolation that's available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles right now. You can also find us on the Podnation Media Network on Roku, on YouTube, on Rumble, or subscribe to our Substack newsletter. You can also text us at 904-867-4466.
I've started writing fortune cookie. Fortune.
Hey,
on
the guy
Tuesdays
who
and Thursdays, and I only do it for about 20 minutes.
I was just saying,
You gotta
there
write
was
really
one
tiny.
There was
one quicker range. All right, quit with that.
You got to finish making that.
There was one guy who did that for like 50 years, and he retired a couple years ago. So,
oh wow,
that is a vacuum that needs to be filled.
He's living in the villages down in Florida.
Considering I opened up a fortune cookie recently that said you just ate Chinese food, I think they need some new fortune cookies.
So
Don't forget
I'm a published author, I guess.
Yeah. Don't forget to stop by the Crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next time around for episode 214. Next time around, we are doing a horror movie tournament bracket brought to us by Mike. So Mike's going to be running the main segment next week as we decide on what's the best horror movie of all time. Once again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
I'm Nathan.
And that's Nathan. Thank you for joining us tonight. Again, this has been the Films and Fermentation Podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.